Hi, it's Arthur. I'm live from PyData Paris 2025 Backstage. I'm here with Jan from Quantstack. So, hi, Jan. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Fine. And first, maybe can you give us some hints about your personal journey to open source development?
Sure, happy to do that. Yeah, so my open source journey began 15 years ago with Matplotlib. I was an oceanic modeler at the
Okay.
time, trying to do some contour plots of my
Yeah.
currents, and they involved using NumPy masked arrays, because if you're like modeling the oceans, you have
Yeah.
islands which need to be masked
No
out
need
in
for
the
that.
current, of course. And I discovered that Matplotlib contouring plots didn't really support masked arrays correctly,
Okay.
and I thought I'd have a look at the code and see. And I understood that some of the Matplotlib code was written in C, and I happen to have a background in C, so that was okay. And I found the problem. It was like a one-line fix in some obfuscated C code. Made the change. This was before GitHub, so I emailed a patch file to the developers. They were very happy to receive it, and then suddenly it appeared I was like a core developer at Matplotlib, because I had some understanding of like the C code, not just the sort of front-end Python code.
Okay, so this is how you got into open source, and now you at Quantstack. How did the transition between like being not so between being in the oceanographic environment and contribute to Matplotlib, and then you're now to Quantstack? How
Okay,
that
well,
happen?
sure. Well, I guess it's actually a fairly sort of common evolution from scientist to software developer, because I think when I was a scientist, I did some maths, some physics, some computational stuff, and I much more enjoyed the computational stuff. So it was the solving the problems using like the restricted grammar of a programming language I enjoyed more. So I naturally became more of a software developer. I tried to do that commercially, but it was never quite as much fun as open source. So I guess I spent many years moving between jobs, trying to find a way to get employed writing open source software. And Quantstack, of course, fulfill that that requirement very, very nicely.
Oh, that's really nice. So you joined at which point did you join Quantstack?
So I've been at Quantstack for 2 years now.
2 years now. Okay, and what are you working on?
So I work in the Jupyter ecosystem.
Nice.
I don't really specialize in one thing. I do a combination of projects as required, a bit like the Matplotlib work, combination of languages. So a couple of the big things I work on at the moment is trying to add some multi-threading support to Jupyter kernels. So that's sort of multi-threaded, async, socket, low-level work.
Okay.
And the other subject, and the reason I guess I'm here sort of today or at PyData Paris, is I'm working on Jupyter Lite. So that is the Jupyter Lab implementation that's compiled to WebAssembly, all works within the browser.
Which doesn't sound like low-level work, so you are proficient in both low-level and quite high-level work?
I think I would say I work on both low level and high level. There's always somebody more proficient, but I try to bring experience and different programming languages to work in an environment where there's little competition, because most people are specialized.
That's really nice. And is this your first edition of PyData?
No, I came last year, and I gave a bigger talk last year. This year I've come again, and I'm just a few minutes as part of a larger talk for someone else.
Okay, and without disclosing everything, what was the point of the global talk?
Okay, so the talk this year was mostly about Emscript Forge, which is the system of building WebAssembly packages for Jupyter Lite, essentially. And there are lots of interesting things happen there that are quite complicated. I just do a little bit of that to help some of the other developers.
Oh, that's really nice. And to maybe open up a bit the conversation, is there anything you want to share on a personal level, or maybe one of your passion to our listeners?
Well, I guess on a personal level, that one of the benefits of working, I live in the UK, but I work for Quantstack based in France. I like working remotely. That works, of course, well for many open source developers as well, because we work asynchronously on GitHub. We don't require face-to-face contact. The big benefit to me is I actually own a very small farm in the UK. So I keep pigs, for example, and often people are surprised that I manage to juggle keeping pigs as a very small-scale farmer, maybe not to a high standard, with writing software during my work hours.
But that sounds like a really interesting balance between pure mental work and maybe more labor-heavy work?
Yeah, certainly. I think writing software for 8 hours a day. At the end of the day, I don't particularly want to turn a computer on and write more software. I would much rather be outside in the fresh air doing something else, and the lifestyle mix works quite well.
Perfect. It was really nice. It was a pleasure to have you, Jan, today, and enjoy the rest of PyData.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.